what it's like living in Florida, and this is my experience, my opinion, my 2 cents. What I feel may be very different than what somebody else feels. In today's video, I'll show you video clips while I talk about this topic to show you the beautiful places that I absolutely love and why I love Florida and my experience in Southwest Florida. Many of you know that we moved to Florida about 8 years ago with our family from Ohio. Ohio is a beautiful state, beautiful people, but the winters are long and cold. Scraping ice and shoveling snow and taking a half an hour to dress up to go outside to get the mail was getting to be a little too much. We finally decided to head south, and we ended up in Southwest Florida. A couple of my brothers would vacation every year in Sarasota. Lucky for us, they found an apartment in Sarasota, so we didn't have to worry about if it was a nice place or not. Sometimes on the internet, it's not what you see in person. So it was a nice place. We got to meet a lot of nice people. It was after the crash of 2008, so we were able to find really good deals on houses, and so we ended up buying a house, even though I had no intention of buying one, but we did because we just couldn't pass it up. So this is our experience and what we thought. Now, I remember asking the same question to my very good friend who also lives in Southwest Florida. I remember asking her, what is it like living in Florida? Because she was from Ohio too. And she said, it's beautiful. She said, but it's just like back home. You got to pay bills. So I know a lot of people have in their mind that they're going to go to Florida and be on vacation for the rest of their lives. Well, that's half true. But for those of you who are not retired, you still have to work, make money, or if you have a business, you still have to work. You have to make money. You got bills to pay. That doesn't change no matter where you live, I suppose. So that's something I think people forget about. So if you work outdoors, if you're in construction or just outdoors, you have to keep in mind, especially if you live in southern Florida, southwest Florida, southeast Florida, that it gets really hot in the summer. The sun is very strong. It feels like it's right there. And I think it's very difficult for people to try to work outdoors unless you're born and raised in the hot sun. Maybe it's not a difficult thing. But if you're coming from the north and you're heading south, it might not be something you could do. You might be able to work outdoors in the winter, but summers would be very difficult. Like I said, unless you're able to handle that type of heat and you're younger, and then maybe you could do it. Of course, if you work in a hospital or school or some other indoor job, then with air conditioning, then you're not going to have too much of an issue. I will say, no matter what, if you have bills or if you're not feeling well, or you're maybe sad, or you got divorced, you lost your job, or whatever it is, it still feels, and this is not just me speaking, but many other people, when things are tough and not going right, it's always a little bit better when the sun is shining and the weather's nice and you're not in an area where it's super cold and dark and gloomy and you feel like you can't go outside just because you don't like the cold, or you're tired of it, or you can't get out of your driveway because you have a foot or two of snow. For those of you who are in the snow area, you know what I'm talking about. It can be very difficult, especially when you get older. When you're younger, it's not a big deal to put all your winter clothes on and put your skis on and or go sledding and things like that. But when you get a little older, sometimes you just had enough and you don't mind seeing the snow maybe for a couple weeks on vacation if you're visiting family. For me, year-round, I find it much easier to live. It's just an easier lifestyle for me. I find that I throw my shorts on, my t-shirt, my boat shoes, and I'm out the door just about 365 days a year in Southwest Florida. Of course, I might have to put a sweat jacket on in the winter for a week or two, maybe twice have to put long pants on. I work from home, so I don't work in an office where people have to dress up to go to work. So that's an extra bonus. And I think no matter where you live in this world, as long as you're making some money that makes life a lot easier. So you can go out to eat if that's what you want to do. If you don't, you can still go out for a stroll on the beach. I love living near the beach. That's a wonderful thing for me. Not everyone likes the beach, so people are happy, say, living in Orlando. They like Disney World, for example, or just being warm. I really love the sunsets and the ocean and listening to the waves lap up on the sand. It's really nice. I find it relaxing. And when I say life is just easier, I think about not having to shovel. Not that I shoveled, Rick usually did the shoveling, but I didn't have to worry about all that snow, and I didn't have to worry about the weather in general. It's pretty stable unless a hurricane or a tropical storm is in the weather, and then we're watching that very closely. Grass, we don't even have to cut grass in the winter in Southwest Florida when we owned our house because it didn't rain most of the time. We maybe cut grass once or twice in the winter, unless it, maybe 1 year or 2 years it rained a little bit more, so you cut a little bit more. Summers when you do have to cut grass. You can pay someone $25 for a quarter acre to cut your grass once a week, or sometimes they'll do it for $75 a month, so you get like one time free. I don't know what the going rate is now, but that's what it was. We cut our own grass, but that's a big business in Southwest Florida in the summertime, is cutting grass, because everybody needs to have their grass cut. There's a lot of older people, retired people, so they don't want to cut grass, then especially in the summer when it's so hot, so they will hire people. So that's actually a nice job if you're younger and you're looking to have your own little business. You could always find people to cut their grass because there's a lot of people, like I said, but you have to be willing to stand working outside. It's very hot and humid in the summer. The other thing I like too, there's quite a few colleges down here. If you're younger, if you got kids who are going to college, you have choices as far as good colleges to go to, so that's always nice. The other thing I noticed when we came down to Sarasota, the city of Sarasota, there was all kinds of car washes. So that was convenient to be able to go to any car wash because we didn't have a house at that time, so we needed to take our car to get the sand off. We didn't have to worry about getting salt off our car like we did up north, but we like to hose it down just to get the sand off from the beach. Really cool thing about Florida is all the wildlife. I made a video called It's Like Being on National Geographic. I feel like I'm on a different planet with the different large birds and the alligators, and yes, you'll see a snake once in a while, armadillos. So there's different type of animals, so that's really cool to see that. It's just very different. In the summer, there were some birds that would come to our house. They're like 4 feet tall, and they're not afraid of humans because people were feeding them, which you shouldn't do, but people do. They come right up to you. It's kind of scary sometimes. And as much as I love the beautiful weather during the winter time, it's in the 70s and it's very stable. It's pretty much the same every day, just sunny and warm. I really like the summer weather. I know that sounds a little crazy, but I like watching the storms come in. The skies change before your eyes. It's a spectacular view. I've never seen clouds and skies before that look like the ones I've seen in Florida. They change before the storm and they change after, and it keeps moving. That's why I like summer, because it's just very different. The other thing that's big here is hurricane season. Everybody talks about it. They've got tables set up at the mall. They send out flyers. Everybody gets ready for hurricane season, June 1st through November 30th. Everybody has extra batteries, extra water. If you happen to hear about a hurricane maybe coming your way, the stores empty out on water and extra food. So it's like a big deal. There's always a little excitement in the air. I always pray that nobody gets hurt, of course. And I think it's really important that people are prepared no matter where you live. But especially down here during the hurricane season, people definitely get ready. People fill up their gas tanks. They have extra at home. It's pretty incredible how prepared people are down here. The other thing I love about the Gulf of Mexico is how it feels like bath water in the summer. It just feels so warm and so good. So if you have arthritis or fibromyalgia or other pains in your body, going into the Gulf of Mexico, wonderful feeling. It feels wonderful, and I really do love that. The other thing too is, which is different, is you have rainy season and you have dry season, and that's of course the hurricane season is the rainy season, and then you have the dry season. But you also have love bug season. That's usually April, May. I think May's worse, and then you have August, September, where the love bugs come out. They don't bite, so if you don't know what they are, just look it up. You'll see two of the love bugs hooked up, and they're flying together, and they really dirty up your car, so people have to go to the car wash to wash them off, because it's amazing. There must be millions upon millions of love bugs flying around in the air. It's an incredible sight. We're homeschoolers, so Florida's a very homeschool friendly state, and that's the same with Ohio, so I was happy about that. We didn't have any problems homeschooling our kids. And what's pretty wild is in the summer during rainy season is how much rain falls. It just impresses me every time I see it. It's like the ocean falls on your head. So it's not like all of Florida. It's like this cloud that appears and it drops the rain and then it moves on. So it's not like it's different weather, completely different. Because back in Ohio, if it rains, it could rain. And even here in northern Florida, it's been raining for 2 days. It's just the whole region, the whole area is cloudy and it's raining. And same in Ohio, it wasn't just a cloud. That's how it is in Florida. Sometimes you could see the cloud coming. You're like, there's the rain cloud, and then it comes and it drops on you, and then it's gone, and then you just go about your day. It really does feel like a different world between the animals, the weather, even the way the highways and the roads are set up, completely different. There's a lot of U-turns in where we lived in Southwest Florida. Everywhere you went. I don't care for that. I would have to say there's quite a bit of accidents, I think, because of those U-turns. Sometimes you have to do the U-turns to get to the other side of the road. Maybe that's why there's so many accidents. A lot of people that are not from Florida, they are not used to the U-turns, and so maybe they're not sure what to do. It can be a little confusing at times. People go to the beach every night to watch the sunset. It's like they're there to watch a movie. It's like going to the movie theater. Everybody shows up to watch the sunset, and then they go home. It's like a little celebration. There's even these drum circles on the beaches on certain nights along Southwest Florida, along the beaches, and it's so much fun. People come with their tambourines and their drums, and they go dancing, and they got their hula hoops. I did a video showing that as well. I can't remember the name of that one, but it was really fun. And it's a celebration, I think, of the sun and the sun setting and just the beautiful earth that we have. It's just amazing. I know a lot of people think it's just a dream to move to Florida, and I don't think that it should have to be a dream. I don't find it to be more expensive than where we were in Ohio, but as I've told other people, it depends on your lifestyle, what you're used to, what you're willing to live with. If you're wanting to move and you're not making enough, you can make more. That's going to be up to you if you want to do that. If it's worth you making more, working more, starting a business, going back to school, that's all up to you. If it's not worth it to you, then that's fine. That's okay. There's no problem with that. But if you really, really want to move to Florida, you really can do it. But only you can make that decision. You're going to have to buckle down if you really want to do it, because it does take a lot of work. Usually the things that we want the most are not free, or they're not easy to acquire. So that's why I say you'll have to do a lot of work, a lot of research, a lot of determination if you want to do it. I hope that those of you who really want to move to Florida, that you will put your mind to it and figure a way out. We all have to do it in different ways because we come from different backgrounds and we have different knowledge of different things, but I'm sure that you'll figure it out one way or the other. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to live a passionate life.